Good evening and welcome to Diversity in the Community. I am your host, Teresa Harris. I have a very, very special guest with me today. As a matter of fact, I've seen her at my church many times and didn't realize who she was until we were both on the same program. So I would like to introduce you to you today, Camille, and I want her to actually pronounce her last name because I don't want to mess it up. And I am just so pleased to have you on the program tonight. Welcome, sweetheart.
Thank
and
you
so you want to tell
Teresa.
us your name and.
My name is Camille Ismail.
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 Okay.
Very easy to pronounce.
Now, what's that in the middle?
That's my middle name.
That's your how do you pronounce that?
Onish.
Onish. Okay. We were on the same program, and you gave your testimony.
Yes.
And it just touched my heart.
Yes.
And so I just couldn't wait for you to get on the program because there are so many people out there, women, well, men too, but women who have gone through, terrible things in their lives, but you made it through with the help of God. And so I just want you to give your testimony the way you gave it the night that I saw you on the program, because it touched many, many people. I haven't stopped talking about it. I told my prayer partners when I was like, that young lady that was at our church and she sang, I said she gave her testimony and I was telling them about it. So I want you to tell the audience your testimony. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. So again, my name is Camille Onish Ismail, and I'm a singer and songwriter, gospel singer and songwriter, and I love the Lord. In 2011, something dramatic happened to me where I never thought in a million years that it would take place. I was married. I got married in 2008. February the 10th passed. Would have been my anniversary of 9 years. And so my husband was in school to become a massage therapist at Brantford Hall. I was in school studying to be a psychologist. So we were doing normal things. We're young. I was 27, he was 29. So we're doing normal things as young people would do. Go to church, do the right thing. And so we had supper one night, July 27th, 2011. We had supper, and he said, well, I'm going to go out for a little bit. Can you drop me off? I said, sure. So I dropped him off, and, he went and hung out with his friends. And I realized, when I fell asleep, I realized he didn't come home. It was about 3, 4 in the morning. So I said, this is not like him. So let me call my mother-in-law and see if he's there. Boys love their mothers, and he's one of those boys who love Mama Willie, love his mother. But I didn't call. I went back to bed. I said, I'm not gonna worry. I'm just gonna go to bed. At about 9:30 that morning, when I woke up, took a shower, and I said, I'm not gonna open my salon today. I'm just gonna stay home. I just felt quiet in my spirit. And my mother-in-law called me. She said, can you come to the house? I said, okay, Mom, sure, I'll be there. And she was just casual. She wasn't crying. She didn't sound, So I said, wow, Mom never calls and say, come to the house. So I hustled from Willard Street all the way over to Manchester Street. I said, maybe Dad is sick or something. Maybe, Muhammad was there and something happened. So when I got there, I pulled up in my car, and I got there, my brother-in-law was sitting outside. I can't forget, in a light pink shirt. His shirt was unbuttoned, and there were cars around, and people were just coming in and out of the house. And I'm like, this is strange. So I'm not thinking anything about my husband. I'm just going inside thinking she's going to tell me Dad passed away. So when I got inside, she told me to come and sit next to her on the couch. No, first my brother-in-law said to me, why you look like that? I said, why you look like that? Because he was sitting like right in front of the door.
Yeah.
And I remember him saying to me, just go on inside. Just go inside. Mom wants you inside. Just go inside. I said, okay. I went inside, Teresa, and when I got inside, I realized that Mom was crying. Now, this is a lady that doesn't cry. This is a lady that, when I tell you about the strength, she's always pleasant, always smiling, always strong. And so she said, come and sit down here, daughter. I said, okay. So I sat down next to her on the couch, and I remember her just embracing me, just holding me, because she knew I was going to fall apart. And she said, well, Muhammad is not coming home. I said, Mom, what you mean he's not coming home?
Wow.
Is he in jail? What happened?
Yeah.
So she said to me, she said, well, I mean, he's never, ever coming back home. I guess, she didn't want to just blurt out and say,
Yes.
he passed away, he died, whatever. She just said, he's never, ever coming back home. So I sat there for a while hugging her, and she was crying. And I said, Mom, I really don't understand what you're trying to say to me. So my father-in-law was upstairs. I said, where is Dad? So she said, Dad is upstairs. I said, okay, let me go and talk to Dad, because maybe he'll give me.
You still didn't get the. No.
I still didn't understand what was happening around me.
Yeah.
So I said, Dad, I need you to talk to me, because Mom is not making any sense. So he said to me in plain English, he said, Muhammad is dead.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
And after that, I don't remember what happened. I remember my brother-in-law picking me up from the floor and, putting me back in the couch. And if somebody asked me what happened within those 6 hours or 8 hours afterwards, I don't remember, right? So as the night carried on, people came from all over, because my husband went to Weaver High School. He was a member of First Cathedral. He was on the boxing team. So a lot of people know him.
Yeah.
At this moment, Teresa, it was still surreal. I'm saying, not Muhammad. We just had supper. We just laughed. We just conversated. We just talked. So he said to me, in my spirit, I could hear him saying, what are you crying for?
Wow.
Just dry your tears. You're going to be all right. Because that's the kind of personality that he had.
Yeah.
And so my brother-in-law came across the floor, dancing, trying to cheer me up. So then, my niece and my nephew wasn't born at the time. My niece came and she said, Auntie, don't cry. Uncle Mo is a butterfly. So I said, okay. I said, Mom, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna leave. And I left and I went home to my apartment alone.
Wow, Jesus.
And when I got home and I opened the door, I just curled up on the couch and I didn't answer my phone kept ringing. I didn't answer my phone. I just didn't conversate. I didn't talk to anyone. I didn't communicate for days because it all just didn't make sense at the time. And I called my cousin Stacy and I said, you gotta leave what you're doing and come now. She said, come and pick me up. I said, I can't drive. If I drive, I'll probably meet in an accident. She said, is that bad? I said, yeah, it's that bad.
Wow.
So she came and she brought David with her and I said, okay, you could leave now. Leave David and you could leave. And she said, no, I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving the baby because I don't know what's wrong. I need to know what's wrong before I go to make sure you're okay. And I said to her, I said, Muhammad passed away. She said,
Oh, Jesus.
she said to me, she said, Camille, didn't we just go out? And I said, yeah, we just went out. We just went to the movies the weekend before. And so she said, okay, because she knows when I'm in pain or I'm hurting, I want to be left alone. So she said, okay, I'm going to leave the boombox with the Shirley Caesar CD, and because I had asked her to bring it, and I'm going to leave David, and I'll come back and get him whenever you're ready. Just so I could not be alone. And I didn't want any adults around me. I didn't want anyone around me. I just wanted to be alone.
Yes.
So I figured he's a baby, he would occupy my mind and occupy my time. It so happened that my mother-in-law called, and I'm like, should I pick up the phone? Should, you know? And I answered. She said, why did you leave the house? I said, Mom, I don't want to do that right now. She said, okay, are you okay? Did you eat? I said, I'm good. You rest yourself. I'm okay. And the days went on. We had the funeral and, you know, the whole 9 yards. And to everyone, I seemed okay because I never cried. I was just still.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't cry for them to see. I didn't fall apart for them to see. Just that one day in the beginning, and that was it. And so as the days and the months went by, I started to have a breakdown, a nervous breakdown that no one knew about. So my husband died the 27th. The parade, the Jamaican parade, was like 2 weeks later. And I had 10,000 people that I had to sing for.
Oh, my.
And I got up there and I sang. And after I was done, I said, well, I want to say thank you all for coming out today. But I just want to let y'all know that right now I'm hurting. My husband died last night.
Wow.
2 weeks ago, sorry. And one lady ran down I remember her running down the slope by the riverfront. She said, how could you entertain us while you're hurting? I said, I don't know where I got the strength from. I don't know how. I don't know. I really didn't know. And then I had to leave there and go sing at the West Indian pageant down at the West Indian Club. And I sang there, and when I was done, I said to them, I said, at this moment, my husband passed away 2 weeks ago.
Wow. Wow.
Because these are concerts that were already set up by my manager for me to do. And it took me a long time, Teresa, to hold a microphone again, to sing a song again.
Yes, yes.
Because Muhammad was my inspiration. He was my friend. He was the wind beneath my wings.
Wow. Wow.
When you talk about support in the areas of your career, he was that. He's very quiet. He doesn't talk much. But when he does say something, his words meant everything. And so when he writes and I read it back, you know, he's like, I wrote a poem for you, can you read it out loud? And I'll read it out loud to him. He'll say to me, wow, I could be the best writer. Ain't nobody like me. You know, and he used to always tell me, he said, you know, I'm your angel. And until he died, I didn't understand what he was saying. Through all of that, you know, I didn't go to church. Bishop Bailey, you know, they came by, and everybody came by to show their support. But I want to tell you one thing. 2 months later, I never saw anybody. I never got a phone call.
Everybody just kind of dropped off.
Everybody just dissipated and disappeared.
Wow.
So here I am in a country alone, without a mother, without a father, without a sister, without a brother. There's no blood kin nowhere. And all I had was my mother-in-law and my father-in-law. They were my strength. And so one day Dad said to me, he said, baby, I want you to take up your word.
Yes.
And I said, Dad, I really don't want to talk to God right now because God took my only friend away. And he said to me, he said, God can heal any wound.
Yes, he can. Yes, he can. Yes, he
Just pick up your word.
Yes.
I said, okay, Dad, I promise you, I'm going to do it. I didn't do it. I made a promise and I didn't keep it. One night, my cousin came by my house and she said, you know what? You should go for therapy. I said, I'm sorry, I ain't doing that. She said, please, just for me, just go. I said, okay, I'll go. So we went to Mount Sinai, and they, the therapist did their thing and all of that. But nobody could really reach the core of my soul.
Yeah, yeah.
So I knew at that moment that I needed a greater power.
Yes, yes.
I knew at that moment that I needed an inner, that depth of my soul needed something greater than what man can do.
Yes.
So I said to my cousin, I said, I'm going to go to church today. She said, you are? I said, yes. I said, I'm not going up to First Cathedral, though. I'm going to go right here on Blue Hills Avenue. And when I walked in the church, Sister Marcia said, oh, my God, I haven't seen you in years. How are you doing? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay. And she said to me, she said, come on, baby.
I want to get you some tissue.
Oh, thank you.
Dee, can we get some tissue, sweetie? Yes, I can. Yeah, okay. Whew. My God. So she'll stop back over where we was at.
Okay.
I don't want to.
Thank you, darling.
We're going to have to give
I'm
people.
a mess.
Give me one, too. Thank you.
Yeah, want me to keep this here?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll start back up. So you can start back where you was talking about you saw Marcia.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Whenever you're ready.
All right, so you guys, we started off from you?
Yeah, because she was saying that you went on Blue
I went
Hills
to
Avenue.
church, yeah.
Yeah, you went to church, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
we're gonna count you down from 3, 2.
So I went to church, and I saw Sister Marcia, and she, all the time, wherever I go, it put me on the spot. Mm-hmm. She's like, come on, baby, come and sing a song. I took a deep breath. Mm-hmm. I inhaled, I exhaled. And I got up and I went there and I began to sing. And as I began to sing and minister to the people, God began to minister to me.
Oh, God, yes.
Church was over. It was a good service. I'll never forget it. Bishop preached on the woman with the issue of blood. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that message stuck with me, and it carried me through my pain. Mm-hmm. All the therapy, my mother-in-law, I'm telling you, you would think as a mom she would break down. But she knew that I was hurting, so she was very, very supportive. Even till this date, it's been 6 years, and she calls as if she's around the corner and checks on me. Are you okay? If it goes too long and I don't call and I don't say hello, Dad will text, what's going on? Are you okay? And so through singing and reading my word, God began to do an inner deep tissue cleanse of the pain.
Yes.
Because it's not easy being 27 years old, alone without no family, and losing the one person that's your support and your strength.
Yes.
So I finally got up the strength 2 years ago, and I said, okay, I'm gonna go through my husband's journals and stuff like that. And as I started to go through them, I realized that the tears began to flow, and the refreshing began to take place. And one of the poems he wrote in his journal was, you're the flower in my garden, you're my wife, you're beautiful as the sun. And as the sun rise, so does your smile rise with the sun. My wife, Camille, Ismail. And I carried that with me everywhere I go. I ripped the leaf out. I still have it. Pages is a little, but I still got it with me. And so music became a healing part of my life.
Yes.
So sometimes I'll be driving in my car and I'll be just singing a song unto the Lord. Or, I'll go to church and sometimes I'll be singing. I'll be sitting there and the word is going forth, but a song will come.
Yes.
Out of the message, a song will come. So music for me became my hiding place.
Yes.
My strong tower.
Yes.
Because that was the common ground that my husband and I shared the most. And that's why finishing up my book, The Strength of a Woman, Arise from Your Ashes. And it gave me the courage to help someone else,
Yes.
to let someone else know you're not alone. You know, people say to me when my husband died, you're so young to be a widow. You know, people made fun of me. I was ridiculed to the point where my mother-in-law even got upset and say, you're an older woman, why would you say something like that?
Right. How old you need to be a widow?
You could be a widow at 22 if you're
Yeah.
married.
Yeah.
You know, so we don't check what we say or what we do when someone is hurting. But I lost majority of my friends because they didn't understand how to deal with what I was going through.
Right.
But my cousin, she never left my side. She still don't. Oh Lord. She don't want to go to church, but she reads her word at home, and she, you know.
And you know she loves you and she cares about you.
And she's supportive. She's very, very supportive. We're cousins through marriage from our family side. And, you know, then 2 years ago I met Pastor Birmingham.
Yeah.
And when I met her, one Sunday, I was on my way to Jamaica. And one Sunday, the Lord told her to pray for me. And she came over and she began to pray for me. And one of the things that she prayed was for God to completely heal me
Yes.
of the hurt and the pain. And this lady knows absolutely nothing about me. And she began to pray for God to take away the pain and leave no residue.
Yes.
And I can honestly tell you, after that prayer, there's never a moment or a time where I felt sad or felt depressed to the level where I was. Not saying that it doesn't try to come back.
Yes.
It does. You know, but through coming to church, coming to the conferences, participating in the kingdom of God has helped me to really get to the place where I am now to even talk about it. There was a time where I wouldn't even talk about
it. Yes.
the fact that I'm a widow, because I felt embarrassed. I felt like, why would you say something like that? Just don't let people know you were married, sort of thing. Because I was afraid that, and it still happens today. If I'm doing a transaction and I put on it that I'm a widow, the person across the counter will say, "You're so young to be a widow."
That's kind of a crazy thing to say, though.
It is.
Yeah.
So I've come to the realization that I guess it's a shocker to older women when someone so young go through something like that. So I had to get to that place where I understand their mindset.
Yeah.
And don't judge them.
Yeah.
But just know that they lack understanding.
Right.
So, I started going to church, Pastor Birmingham, and one day she sat with me alone. After I'd been at the church for maybe a year and a half, she sat with me by myself. She said, "Daughter, you have so much gifts and so much talents locked up on the inside of you."
Yes.
She said, "But the pain of the past seems to ride on your back to the point where you cannot really show your true smile or your true beauty." And I said, "Pastor, I'm fine. I'm okay." That's what I said. And she said, "You know the Holy Ghost ain't gonna tell no lie." She bust me open. She said, "Really?" And I just put on a smile, and she said, "That smile ain't gonna fool me."
I can imagine her saying that too.
She said, "Now let's talk about it. What's really going on?" And I began to share a little bit, and then she said, "Okay, that's enough. That's good." About 3 seconds into it, she said, "That's good. I just want you to know that problem is there. So now we're gonna get into the word." And she told me to read Psalm chapter 5. And I read the Psalm, And so God began to do his own work. I started to get deeper in prayer and studies, you know. And so God began to use me. That's how I came to meet with Apostle Wilson.
Yeah.
And I'm getting to this level of my journey where I can actually open up and talk about tell my story to someone else.
Oh my goodness. Your story is so powerful. And the reason why it's powerful, because like I said at the beginning, there's so many women who have found themselves in, I would call it, a dark hole.
Yeah.
And they don't know how to get out of it. And if they only knew that if they could reach out and touch the Father, no matter how dark that hole is, because I've spoken to many, many people, no matter how dark that hole is or how deep it is, if you get one touch
Just one.
from the Master's hand,
Just one.
he can totally change your life.
Yes. I'm a living testimony.
Yes, you are.
I'm a living testimony.
Yes, I've spoken to people who have even been, one guy that I spoke to once that said he was on really into drugs or whatever, and just nothing could help him, what they call a 5-step, or whatever, 3-step program, whatever. And he said all it took one time for him to be in a church service. And he was touched, and he said he never had to go to any other kind of program from that one touch.
One touch.
He's got a powerful touch. And oh my God, your testimony is just wonderful, because I think that it can help so many people out there, not just women, but men, even children, just to know that God cares about you. And I'm now even seeing Pastor Birmingham in a different light, because I see her all the time in church, but it's always up in the pulpit or whatever. But I never saw the close personal side of her.
Yeah. She is friendly. She's very loving. She's a mother, but she's also a friend. So she'll be your pastor, she'll rebuke you, she'll correct you. But then she'll be the mother that will stitch up the wound after she give you a lashing. And then she'll give you the word of God to help you to really completely heal.
Yes.
So that you get to that place where you can see your purpose and your destiny aligning to what it should be or it should have been.
Right.
You know, so that's the kind of woman of God that I view her as. And I look up to her not only as a pastor, but as a leader in the earth, where I see where she could shake nations to allow them to understand that God is real. Because so many people my age that gone through situations probably worse than mine. But the process of coming out is not easy. Because I remember days where I used to lock myself in the bathroom and just cover myself up with a towel and just turn the water on. And just let the water just beat on my head just to get that freeness in my spirit. You know, and just, I wouldn't cry, but just let that, you know, the water just be, hear the sound of it to relieve the pain. But nothing could take the pain away. I remember days where I'm riding in my little Cressida and I pull over on the side of the road and just burst out in tears as if my husband just died, you know? So it's not, the pain doesn't go away until you recognize that the pain is there and then work on the solution to come out of the pain. But the coming out is also painful. Because when you're coming out, you're going to have some bumps and bruises. You know, they tell you to jump, to do it by faith, right? My therapist told me, she said, Susan used to say, Camille, well, tomorrow I want you to get up at 6 o'clock and I want you to pretend you're going to work and get dressed and put your makeup on and do your hair. And I'm like, who is she talking to? Does she even know what I'm feeling? But she's right. It's a process. So if I get up, take a shower, comb my hair, put my makeup on, and get dressed as if I'm going to work and actually come out of the house, I will feel better. because then I'm not there looking in the mirror, looking around to see if my husband is coming home. You know? Now, not saying when I go outside I might not cry or pull over somewhere where we usually go. So the process of coming out is never easy. But the self-determination that I had, because I knew I have to be strong for my mom and dad. I have to be strong for my sisters and brothers. They're looking up to me.
Yes.
You know? So, and my grandmother always say to me through it, she used to say, you know what, baby? Learn to trust in Jesus. I said, Grandma, that was your day. She said, no, honey. The same way how I learned to trust in Jesus, you could learn to do the same thing. It's the same process. She said, kneel down at your bedside and just say, thank you, Jesus. Thank you for bringing me out. And I used to do that all the time, just kneel down and say, thank you, Jesus, for bringing me out.
Yes.
And he heard my cry. And he answered. And I could tell any woman, any man, being a widow or widower, you know, it's not an easy road.
Yeah.
Especially when that person is, you know, the wind beneath your wings.
Yes. But you, what's that saying, or I don't know if it's in the Bible, or people just saying you're overcome by your testimony.
It's in Revelation.
Yeah.
You overcome by the word of your testimony, by the blood of the Lamb.
Yes, yes. And not only do you overcome, but the people that you're speaking to. They said, if she can do it, then maybe I can. Yes. Oh, wow. Now, you have a very important program that's coming up on Saturday, March 10th. You want to talk a little bit about that and see if we can get some folks out there to...
So I told my story, and based on my book, I came up with the idea of having a conference of bringing women together from all walks of life to hear a little bit about the strength of a woman, empowering you to win. I might share my story that day, I might not, because I just can't take the crying.
Well, you know, that's a part of it. That's a part of it.
So we're going to mix it up a little bit. It's not the usual typical conference that we usually have for women where we get together and it's just talking. So we're going to have yoga by Pia Johns. She's a yoga instructor. She's in Enfield, so she'll be coming in. Then we're going to have Cherie Sutton, my very own, my mentor. I look up to her as a mentor. She's very nice. She Is Me Project. She'll be there speaking on women, that there is every woman in one of us.
Yes.
You know, so she's going to be sharing on that. And then we're going to have Miss Stephanie France from her Relentless Ambition. Now, this young lady, she's young, and her age group that she taps into is age 16 to 21.
Wow, okay.
And she empowers them to win. Now, I tell her all the time, I said, Steph, you got work on your hands. She said, I know, Coach, but I enjoy it.
Wonderful. I can't
I
wait
love
to meet her.
it.
Can't wait to meet her.
Yeah, she is, when I tell you, a phenomenal young lady. She gives the young people the power that they need in order for them to succeed.
Yes.
Tools, you know, for them to be creative and allow them to be themselves, you know, which I think is so needed in our society today.
Yes.
And then we're going to have our very own Miss Margaret DeCass from Wine and Workout. She will be teaching on health. She'll do a little fitness workout as well, Zumba workout, and then she'll be teaching us on how to proportion our foods to eat properly.
Well, I need to be there.
So that we can maintain our weight. I'm always this small. When my husband died, I went up to a size 12, 14. And then after I started to heal, I said,
Yeah, you got to. Yeah.
This got to go.
Lord, I need some healing.
So it's going to be on March the 10th at the Comfort Inn, 1330 Silas Dean Highway. That's right behind the Red Lobster.
Okay.
In Rocky Hill.
Okay.
But it's Weathersfield. And so doors open at 2 p.m. We're going to have vendors there. So just come out hang out with me and hear these women's stories, how they overcome. We will have guest coaches from New York. A fashion designer just called. She inboxed me. She said, I would like to, be there. She's coming down from New York, and Carmen uses her clothing to empower young people in
Okay.
Long Island on how to be a better them.
Okay.
So I'll be traveling to New York to support them with their urban clothing and all of that. And so they're coming down from New York. Some of my friends are coming in from Massachusetts, and they're just coming from all over.
How should we dress? I mean, if you're
Just
gonna
be comfortable. You could wear your pants, because remember, it's workout. So you could
Yeah,
wear
that's
your
what I'm
tights and your
saying.
T-shirt and your sneakers. Be comfortable. Hey, if people want to dress up and be fancy, that's on them.
No.
But just relax.
And it's a lunch. It's going to be a lunch.
Yes,
dinner.
you'll have appetizers when you come in. We'll have lunch. Lunch is provided and dinner is provided by Cassandra Nicola's restaurant. She's a caterer, so she will be providing some tasty food. I think she's doing baked fish and grilled chicken.
Oh,
and,
God, that sounds good.
Yeah, and she'll be doing some jerk chicken for all those that are looking forward to that. And, we'll have some vegetarian style food for those who would like to have vegan food that will be available, because not everybody eats chicken and
Right,
fish.
right.
Some people want, and there'll be juice and all kind of goodies there. We're going to be giving away a pretty good amount of gifts. So make sure you want time, because the first person that goes through the door will be getting a prize.
Oh, don't tell me that. Don't tell me that.
So be on time, people. Be on time. And it will. I believe it will be a very, very an event to remember, because there's none like it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to it.
I'm excited. We're 3 weeks away, and I'm super excited. It's keeping me up at night, but it's good.
Good for you. Good for you.
It's good.
Well, I first of all, I want to thank you so much for being a
Thank
part of
you
my
for
program.
having me.
I love you, and it's so nice to actually talk to you. I mean, I see you all the time. It's so nice to talk to you.
Yeah.
You have a special testimony. I was just really touched. And I
Thank you.
really appreciate you being here.
Thank
and I
you
pray
for
that
having
your
me.
program is going to be successful. I'll be there. I don't know how much I'll be able to move, but I'll be there. And so thank you guys for watching our program tonight. And I hope that you have been inspired by the testimony of this young lady, and know that you too can be touched and you can come out of that dark hole, depression or whatever. Anything is possible through Jesus Christ. So I thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Good night.